your normal energy use, or you could just go to just all solar panels. And so essentially he's cutting out fucking all the electric companies.
I know, I bet
and it's going to fucking cause a problem. But I think it's so beautiful because it's like, that's what the free market is for. It's for ruining inefficient businesses. If you have a guy who's, invented this thing, and I'm sure it wasn't on his own, and, I think his company's name's, he named his company Tesla, and he doesn't patent any of the inventions like Tesla didn't. Tesla didn't patent anything, so anybody could use his stuff. And so they're doing the same thing, where if you can get the schematics and you can make your own, and there'll be competition related to it. But I just think it's really cool because it's like, obviously, anything more efficient, better for the environment. It's that is more cost effective, something that allows people to be more independent and free of like large, monopolistic companies. Just makes sense to me, and I just think it's really cool to see somebody like say, I don't care what the consequences to other businesses are. I'm doing something for the people. I'm doing something for consumers, and it affects lives. So I think it's really cool.
That'd be interesting.
Musk.
Fuck the power company. I'm just gonna go below a few $1,000s. Just get my own little portable.
Yeah.
Boom.
I don't. Everybody's gonna use them. I don't see why.
Yeah, that seems like something that.
And you can set them up in like, anywhere in the world. It's all a closed system. You just have a solar panel and an energy unit, and then it just connects to your grid in your home, and you're good to go. You don't. You can just put it in in Africa, in Somalia. You can just and it'll change the way people live their lives, and have access to electricity.
We don't have to run power lines anymore and shit.
Oh yeah, it just saves all the infrastructure, and it's I think it's pretty incredible. I should put money and stock into it, but I bet it's like so through the roof right now.
Read a tragic story called The Death of the Power Poles.
Yeah.
Power lines.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We can use all that.
It's all the characters are just power lines and power poles, and they're all sad because they're getting ripped up and cut up, and
one cable gets to go live in a new solar panel home, but the other ones don't, so they get separated.
They draw straws, and I don't know how they do that because they're cables.
It'd be a cartoon. It'd be a Disney movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Called the Rise and Death of
power lines,
modern solar or modern electrical companies. I don't know. Yeah. Fucking A. Why don't we do our words?
Words it is.
We're at a lull in the conversation.
Brilliant conversation.
Conversation.
My word this week is an adjective, and it is volitant.
Volitant.
Yes.
It reminds me of volatile, so it's probably something that is volatile. Something that like a catalyst for volatile.
I thought the same thing when I saw the word, but it is not. No.
What the fuck?
It's engaged in or having the power of flight. Something that is volitant has the ability to fly.
Or has the ability to fly.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I know, right?
Why don't you just say, can fly?
Because volitant sounds way more badass.
If
you were a mutant that could, and your only superpower is the ability to fly, wouldn't you want your name to be Volitant? Or just be like, I can.
And then you have to explain yourself every time. Nobody ever used that word. What is engaged in or
having the power of flight? So if you're engaged in the act of flying, you're volitant as well. Like you can...
if you're on an airplane, you're being volitant?
Mm-hmm.
I feel very volitant right now. The lack of volitant
is violating me.
Volatile. That's weird.
But it comes from the Latin verb volare, meaning to fly. It entered English in the mid-1800s.
Valerius. Volitant. I have a volitant. Boom. I don't know. Birds, pieces of paper.
Or volitant.
They're all volitant. That's really interesting.
Where'd that fucking volitant piece of paper go? It's got all my homework scribbles on it.
And it was flying around. I made it into a paper plane. A paper plane. Paper.
Paper?
A paper.
Oh, it's paper. It's a paper that the peeps on you.
Waterworld, where he's like, have you ever seen the movie Waterworld? Where the guy who's just lives on a boat and tries to rape that girl, he's just like, it's paper. It's paper.
I know, because paper's a big deal to them and drinking water.
Yeah.
I just remember Kevin Costner pees into a machine that purifies it, and then he drinks it.
And he's
really
like
exciting. And he's
like
gills.
super smart, and he has gills because evolution really worked quick on these people. Well,
I
this
know.
is like hundreds of years. I guess
Is that what it was? It was like an evolutionary thing, because I know
it had to
obviously
because it was our world, but it'd been all the ice caps melted or whatever.
Yeah,
and so
except for that big piece of land that they found at the end
and
of
then
the
they
movie.
find land because it's like the top of a mountain or something, which is totally realistic. Like even if all the ice caps, all the ice on Earth melted, there'd still be land.
Yeah,
there's massive, fucking huge mountains.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I've heard.
I've seen in my National Geographic magazines.
The Planet Earth is on Netflix. If you want,
I almost started watching that earlier.
Put it on a big screen, turn it up, and just zone the fuck out on that show. It's so good. It's so fucking mesmerizing.
It was really popular right when I got out of high school.
Yeah.
And
I bought it when it first came out on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I started working at a Borders right out of high school. And right when I started working there, we had just gotten it on like Blu-ray and HD DVD when that was a thing, and then standard DVD. And I remember everybody just flocking in and buying it, and it was like this big fad thing for a little while.
Great.
And now it's on Netflix. No, I saw parts of it because we had it. We played commercials for it in Borders, like behind our register. So I would watch segments of it while I was standing there waiting for somebody to get rung up. So.
Yeah, for show.
For show, indeed. What's your word?
My word is circuitous.
Circuitous?
Have I ever done that before? I feel like I did it before.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Is that describing a person from Syracuse?
Syracuse-ishness? Nope.
Oh, okay.
Circuitous.
Circuitous.
Has CIRCUITIO.
A person that's been circumcised. The act of getting a circumcision.
I think that's called circumcision.
I don't know. Maybe they have a second word for it.
I think circumcision is the verb for that. No.
Okay.
Do you want to keep trying?
No,
what does CIRC usually indicate?
CRIC. It's usually circular.
Circular? Yeah. So it's kind of like that. So it's taking an indirect route. So not taking when you don't take the direct route.
Oh, so like the plot of every horror movie ever made.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, most movies. Yeah, the plot. Yeah. So you if you're trying to get to point B and you're at point A, instead of just going from A to B, you go like A to like C, D, E, F, and then you end up at B, and that's a circuitous route. So it's kind of like circling around something or. Just taking a different route for whatever reason, to take more time or something like that.
You just gotta take in the scenery.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Or the villains are waiting for you on the path between A and B, so you gotta take the circuitous route around to avoid them.
We should choose a circuitous route in order to avoid the pitfalls and traps.
Yes.
Yes.
Pitfalls and traps.
So that's my word, because I wrote it down a while back, and I was like, oh, I guess that was...
You're just digging through some old
I looked at my... it was my phone. I had notes in my phone. And
I know that there's going to be the death of paper, I think. I was trying to think the last time, like, I have like a notepad app on my phone and like a stylus pen and everything. And I, like, whenever I need to write something down, I just open a new page on there and jot it down real quick and save it. And I'm just like, I don't use paper anymore for anything. It's kind of sad.
It's just more efficient.
Yeah.
But I think I like paper and pen for when I want to remember something, because writing it physically with a piece of paper and pen, I think, allows you to memorize it better. It might work the same when you're using a stylus on something.
Yeah, because
I think when you type, it doesn't have the same. It doesn't become salient.
Well, it's so quick
memory.
too. You just kind of do it real fast and then save it, and you're just like, okay, cool. But no, I mean, I use pen and paper when I do notes for my books and stuff.
Yeah.
I just like the idea of having. Like, because I'll flip back and forth and look at old notes from other stories, and you just find things that you came up with that you didn't use, or
it's like a permanent record, and it's cool. Really, really good. I have notebooks and fucking pads of paper all over the place. I just forget to write things down. I gotta I have a habit of I'll think of something interesting and then I just don't write it down. And I want to either tweet it or write it in a notebook, like a joke or a funny observation or an interesting thought. And I just keep it in my head. I gotta
I want to get you a little Sherlock Holmes notepad now.
I have a whole
flip open and
of them,
write stuff.
I got tons of them.
Fold it back up in your pocket.
I just can't do it. I have a whole. This is that I can do it with my phone, and I can write down everything I ever wanted to, but I just keep forgetting. I think I don't have any. I think that it's not it's not important. Like it's that's just a thought.
Yeah.
But that's all we have now in life.
Our thoughts.
Modern humanity is all about expressing intelligence. It is all about expressing thoughts and thinking, and that's exactly what we produce, the most of is information. And so it's like everybody else is just spewing out their thoughts.
Yeah.
So that's what people want is, opinions and interesting dialogues. And, that's why we do this kind of, this is a new thing that people are interested in. But, so I got to stop putting myself down and just put it out there, or at least write it down so that I can remember it. Because I just constantly am thinking about shit. I can't stop myself. It's just a fucking reckless.
I never write it. Like I don't really post anything on like Facebook or Twitter that often. Usually because I think it's something and it's cool, but I'd rather keep it to myself because I'm like greedy that way, and I would rather use it later on for something else. Like I don't know,
or add to it or something.
Yeah, and so I just don't know. I don't ever post that much, or I look at it and I'm just like, why would anybody care about reading that? Like there's no value to me putting that out there. So I just let it go. I chuckle to myself and I let it go.
Yeah, that's why I like Twitter, because there's almost no, like, I know a lot of people aren't going to see it. It's super quick. It doesn't put any pressure on anyone else to check it out. It's just, I'm putting it out there. It's like a record. I'm just recording it, and if somebody likes it, maybe they'll
follow you.
I actually get new followers on Facebook, like almost like a couple times a week.
Oh, really?
It's really weird. Most of the time they're bots. They're just like or like accounts that people have, like 1,000 accounts, and they just post like quotes. They'll just do a bunch of quotes, like philosophy quotes or science quotes or whatever. I was gonna something crazy just happened. I was about to tweet. I'm watching Sons of Anarchy, and the last season is on Netflix, and I watched it. And I really like the show, but it's like the most melodramatic. Like, none of the people on the show are good people. There's no good. It's just the most soap opera show in the world. It's just a soap opera for men. It's like the manliest, brutalist soap opera where people are just dying all the time. And so I wrote, I was on the last episode, it was right at the end, and I was like, this is essentially like a Shakespearean kind of a play, where everybody's, mother against son and son against, kids and all this stuff. And so I wrote, Sons of Anarchy is a modern day Shakespeare-esque soap opera for men, and I like it. It's like, it's a soap opera, but I really like it. Like, I can't stop watching it, even though I hate everybody on it, like all the characters. But as I'm writing Shakespeare-esque, the last thing of the show is a line from Shakespeare. I had written that, and then I'm watching the show, about to tweet this out, and the fucking goddamn motherfuckers. Like, I know that I'm not the only one who thought about Shakespeare, but it just kind of pissed me off that I'm like about to write that this is similar Shakespearean style, and the writer obviously had been doing that the whole time, and as an homage to Shakespeare, because he puts a Shakespearean quote that relates to the story.
And now your tweet's ruined because
what I did? I was just pissed at that point. So what I did is I just started typing in a bunch of letters, and I was just like, "Fuck my butt." I had to put it out there because I enjoy the show, so I wanted to express that. But then I was like, "God damn it!" Like, I'm such an idiot. Like, of course, that's the most obvious likening you can do with that show.
So what you're saying is, for a brief moment, you're like, I've connected these two seemingly unrelated things, and I feel so ingenious about it. Oh, motherfucker!
Yeah, totally.
God damn,
that's exactly what it was. It was like, I was just like, oh, this will be a totally apt comparison. Like, I'll come up with an apt comparison. Not that anybody, like, I'm the only one, but then when the writer does it, I'm just like, I'm a douchebag. Like, way to not be interesting at all. But I just put it out there anyway because, like, nobody looked at it, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, I like Twitter because I have, like, short thoughts.
Just moments.
Yeah.
Fractions of moments.
I like trying to get a complicated thought more concise. And if you only have a limited amount of space to write it, you have to start cutting things out that don't matter, because we use a lot of fluff language. So I try to cut it down to, like, just the the message that I'm, or the, the joke or whatever I'm trying to get out there. But yeah, I definitely need to just write more in general. But I also need to do everything more. Like, I want to learn like Spanish. I want to learn how to play the piano. I was listening to the piano the other day, but I'm just like, I'm too old. I can't learn all this stuff.
You just gotta pick like one or two.
I know, but I'm already like halfway into a bunch of hobbies that I'm only somewhat good at. Yeah. And it's like, God damn it. I have no ability to like, I'll never be an expert at like anything other than knowing myself fairly well.
I think only a few people really become like an expert at something. I feel like a lot of people are pretty good at a lot of things,
but they get all the attention.
Yeah,
the experts get the mundane workers of the world don't get attention, so I don't know about them. So all I see is all these awesome, amazing people in their world.
You could do the piano. Just get a piano and then just do it, and then if people are like, I don't get it, just be like, it's like my own form of piano.
I'm just not good at it.
It's a free flow raw dog style.
It's like it's jazz,
and then you would have a group of people who are like, it's fucking like if that noise music, music.
It's not music. Music is like mathematically has patterns.
But what I'm saying is, if that can pass as some form of entertainment for somebody, then you just randomly punching keys on a piano would work too. I think. Whether that's what you want it to be or not, but
I was thinking maybe the recorder or a flute or bongos, because then it'd be easy.
You should just get a bongo. Take your humming to the next level. You already hum.
How would I do that? How do I take humming to the next level?
Just find constantly new rhythms to create, just new melodies, and maybe just every day just make a new melody.
I could do a new podcast, which is just me humming, humming, like just using my mouth trumpet. But I just like do covers. I'm just a cover band. I'm a cover mouth band. I cover my mouth with bands.
Just rubber band your face and then blow air through your mouth.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just like
sounds exciting.
Yeah,
I think that would work if your episodes were just a couple minutes at a time.
Yeah, that's what I would do. It'd be like an album.
Dead guy, and then just
yeah, it'd be so much fun. I could do all the Disney, like the whole Disney soundtrack and shit like that. Is that a whole new world?
Yes.
That's whistling. That's hard. I'm not good at whistling anymore. Since I had braces, I can't whistle.
Oh,
we talked about that.
That's
before.
why you gotta not have braces, dog. It ruins your innate abilities.
I can do that. I can. That was the one I did for my dog. But I can use my trumpet. Yeah. Anyway, what the fuck I was going to mention? I was thinking recently about entertainment, and I started thinking about how when I'm at work, I'm kind of annoyed that I can't entertain myself, which is silly. And I started thinking that when you grow up with television and podcasts and iPods and just tons of media, like entertainment media, like actors and songs and like everything that's kind of just art, when you have access to that kind of stuff, I think that you grow up to, because entertainment serves a particular purpose, right? It makes you I don't know what it does. It makes you happy, it makes you think, it makes you distracted from negative things in your life or whatever. So there's a reason why entertainment is so fucking prevalent.
I think it just stimulates your emotions. Is like
and it does, and like especially like a good story will get you thinking. So what I was thinking is that essentially my generation and your generation and everyone younger than us, I think their whole lives are geared toward entertaining themselves, just passing the time with entertainment. I think that's like why we go to work, is to then entertain ourselves. Like I'm thinking about like what I'm going to watch next. I'm thinking about what I'm going to play next. I'm thinking about how am I going to entertain myself next. And I think that is one of the biggest differences between a generation that grows up with television and a generation that doesn't. Because when you grow up with TV and your parents put you in front of the TV, they're saying that they value entertainment. They're saying this is what you should be doing. You should be entertaining yourself, and so it takes away from a lot of interpersonal connections and communication. I'm not saying any of this is bad. I just think that it explains a lot of psychology. A lot of younger people, like they're not interested in saving the world or being productive or obtaining a particular skill level. Like a lot of people are people who grow up, in different ways, but I think a lot of people just they don't want to work. They know that they need to work for money so that they can entertain themselves. This is just a thought that I had that it's not like a particularly novel thought or whatever, but I was just thinking about how pervasive it is. Like you grow up from literally a baby listening to music and then you're watching television all the time and you're entertaining yourself with sounds and all sorts of different things. I just think it's changed society, especially in America, where we have just so much entertainment, and then we're looking at our phones. So it's like if I'm at work and it's super boring and I have a phone on me that can entertain me, that makes time go by better, that distracts me from boringness, because I need to stimulate my mind. Like doing something I don't necessarily want to do, I want to do something else, but I have to do the thing to make the money. So I don't know. It's just a thought I had. Like, it just kind of explains why people they're very independent and kind of selfish, is because they don't. Why wouldn't they? There's so much really interesting, fun entertainment out there. Why should I go out and make stuff? Why should I make things and do things and help other people and have a boss who's going to tell me what to do? You know what I mean? Like. So I think we just live in a totally different world where we don't. A lot of us grow up with fairly decent means, and we don't starve, and so we have the luxury of time, and we spend that time entertaining ourselves in lots of different ways. Which is why technology just really feeds into that entertainment.
Well, I
don't think it's bad, but
I think it's just like
it's change.
Well, I think it's just technology. I mean, all this technology's been created, so we do have a ton more time on our hands than they used to have, 100, 200 years ago. So you went from having to literally work from sun up to sundown to sustain your own life to now. I mean, you have your job to make money, but then you just use the money
to make a lot of money.
And so it's just you just have tons of time. Like today, I had the day off, and I was like, I don't have anything to do. Like I got up, I went on a run, I cleaned my house. Yeah, and then I was like, I just have this open day of I don't have any responsibilities really, and so. Exactly. I was just like, I'm just gonna throw something on and do some notes, and I guess that's my day. I don't know what else to do.
And I think with technology and automation, you get rid of a lot of jobs. So you have a ton of people who don't necessarily have to do manual labor jobs. So then they do have a lot more time on their hands. And with technology, it makes everything so much more efficient. So I can be way more productive than anybody could be 200 years ago. I can accomplish and produce more in my labor, like as far as organization or selling or just anything. It just is so much quicker now. Things are produced, they're shipped, they're distributed, they're sold. It's just fucking efficient as hell. And so that just gives everybody just a lot more time on their hands to which is why you have huge industries like the entertainment industries. And so it's just interesting to see how that's going to change, because it's like everybody's complaining that the youth of today they're self-absorbed, they're entitled, but so what? They are living in the most amazing time on earth when we have fridges and computers. Like, why wouldn't you revel in all this fucking entertainment and connection with people who aren't around you, like actors and singers and things like that, and you get to know more about everyone in the world. You get to know so much stuff that it's like we have so much more options to do whatever we want. So back in the day, you had a radio, and you could go outside and build stuff, or you could, you know what I mean? Like you didn't have the kind of, there was a lot to do, but now that we have computers and automation that can make furniture, we don't need furniture makers. So you're going to do something else. So it's just something I've been thinking about as far as trying to not be super critical of today's youth. They have it so easy, they spend their time doing frivolous stuff because it doesn't matter that much. It's not like survival. There's no survival problem. Like we're not having a hard time surviving in America, for the majority of people. We're also worried about like the 10-20% poverty stricken people, but they have it so much better than anybody a couple hundred years ago at their same poverty level. So it's kind of interesting to just try to keep it in perspective and not be super critical of new things, the fact that everybody loves Justin Bieber or something. It's so inconsequential. It just doesn't. It's not bad. It's just they have the time and we have the luxury of time. So I don't know. Just a fleeting thought, actually.
Well, that's why we're here. That's why we got microphones in front of our faces.
I thought I'd let that out
to flee, flee and flitter and flounder.
To flan, which is a food.
A flan.
A flan.
Oh yeah,
it's like the Jello kind of gelatin mass you get at a restaurant.
Fancy.
Something. Anything else you want to chat about? What's up?
What's up,
motherfucker?
Breaking into song. I don't know. It's a good stopping point, I guess. That was a good.
Are you sure?
It's a good bout of, unless you got something else. Oh yeah, no, throw it down. Throw down another gauntlet.
Speaking of complaining, lately I've been listening to too much news lately.
Oh, that's a problem.
So a lot of people. So we got all the the riots in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh or whatever the fuck. Baltimore.
You would get there.
Where's
eventually.
that?
I don't know.
That's not a state.
No.
Is it? No, it's not. Baltimore,
no, Baltimore's not a state.
South Carolina? No. Baltimore, Maryland?
Baltimore.
Balthazar? Whatever. Riots.
Study some geography when we're done here.
Yeah, we'll look at a map. So there's riots. There's Black Lives Matter. There's protests, and I don't know, just all this upheaval, and then everybody's all worried about. They want marijuana legalized everywhere, and a lot of other countries. So there's a lot of political stuff going on right now that I've been listening to. And the one thing that I find the most frustrating about all of it is everybody being so surprised and shocked and complaining about government corruption, about police officers using force, about them being violent, and about them not making good decisions. Like we see it from the outside, and we're like, well, that cop, he shot an unarmed man, and we're just so shocked. And I'm just annoyed that people are shocked. I'm annoyed that people complain about the government. It's like, do you not know what the government is?
I think a lot of people don't. I think a lot of people just don't pay attention to it that much until some event happens, and then it kind of opens their eyes, and then they're suddenly delving into...
Oh my God, there's these people that have guns.
But I think that there are a lot of people who just don't think about it or just don't really care. They're focused on their own life, so they don't really think about external things like that don't seem to have a direct effect on them.
I think that it's hard to think critically about the overarching system that we are born into, and it's hard to differentiate the information that you get. So you get a lot of information from the right about conservatism and less taxes, and then you have people from the left who are like, we should just tax everybody to fucking death so that we can put money into fucking... But it's like I don't know, I just get really frustrated because it's like, how is it surprising that these people whose main goal is to get power through force are being corrupted? The whole moral thing, the whole thing underlying all of it is power and force. And you give somebody power and the ability to use force and no culpability. Politicians can get away with almost everything. And then everyone's so shocked about it. It's just like, how do you not get that they can do what they fucking want? They can do whatever they want because they've already been doing whatever they want. They are the ones in power. They have been stealing and taking from hardworking people for thousands of years. that's what the government fucking is. It is not this fucking moral, virtuous fucking group of people who are looking out for your best interests, because no one is going to ever do that. No one is ever going to look out for your best interests.
That's what you're raised to believe, and that's the
right.
marketing scheme
They're your fucking mommy and daddy who never let you grow up because they're still taking from you and forcing you to do things. It's just the underlying, like, you know, like, I can't believe, like why don't they take my money? It's taxes. I don't even know where to start with the whole thing, because it's a pretty vague rant. But it's just like, to me, it's like, why are you complaining about a bully who takes your money when no one does anything about it, and the bully owns everything and can do whatever they want and has a rocket launcher pointed at you? You know what I mean? Like, why are you surprised when the cops pull their guns on people, when the cops beat people up? I don't get why that's surprising. That's why no one's moral. No one is ethical. I mean, like, those people have the power and can get away with stuff we can't get away with. I can't go around pointing guns at people.
No.
Cops can do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, they're not us. They're not people that work for the government. Get their money by stealing money from the people who do all the work. Now, there are some government agencies that are less fucking annoying, you know, like, you know, I don't even know. I can't even name one. The only one I can possibly think of is the Fish and Wildlife people, because they tend to get a lot of money from the public through like licensing and stuff like that, and which is still just kind of a forced, you know, issue, but at least they're kind of into protecting wildlife and not really affecting my life.
Yeah.
But then you have, you know, like, we're wondering why we can't fund certain agencies that people want their money going to, like infrastructure, education. But why would we put money into that stuff? And why should we? You know, like, why should I pay for any kid to go to school? It's so assumptuous. Assumptive. You know, to think that I should pay for anyone's life. I don't owe anyone anything. I don't. Just because somebody's poor doesn't mean someone should give them money necessarily. And then, or just because somebody has babies, you know, it's just like it's mostly like that liberal, like, which I used to be really liberal. I used to be like into taxes until I realized that that's fucking horrible. To want higher taxes is to want to force people to pay for things they don't want to pay for by the government, which is just a gun, a legal gun. It's, you know, they can point guns at people and make them pay. And, you know, 400 years ago, that's exactly what they did. People didn't pay their taxes back in the day until the fucking dude came riding up on the horse with another bunch of dudes, and they would murder you. And then so that happened for so long, you know, that feudalist kind of like king taxes, like in Game of Thrones, that everyone started getting, you know, you'd hear about your neighbors getting murdered, so you'd pay your taxes. And now we've all heard about things being, you know, we've all heard about the violence that could happen and the fact that you go to jail. And so we pay our taxes. It's not voluntary. It's not, you don't get to not do it because you don't like it. But anyway, it's just annoying. So I shouldn't listen to the news. I got to stop doing that.
No, that's why I don't ever listen to the news, just because it just frustrates me a lot. But a lot of that stuff, very few things surprise me anymore. Like in regards to a lot of them, it's like, oh, that's the government. Like, and then I just go about my day. And it's like, that's what happens.
You just try to stay out of their way. Yep. They're not just another person in your neighborhood. They're a person who gets to do whatever they want for the most part. And then they pretend to have these checks and balances, and they pretend, and it's just a smokescreen. Like a politician or the NSA looks at all of our emails and all of our communications. Why? Why should they be able to do that? Who are they protecting? They're just protecting their own interests. They're not helping me in any way, and I don't have a choice. So it's just like, or you have like, I think Hillary Clinton got caught like erasing a bunch of important emails that like showed that she was doing something, and it's like, she didn't go to jail. She didn't even get fined.
No.
They can't even get fined like basketball players can get fined for saying bad words. Like, they don't get into any trouble. They can only be unelected. Like out of office.
Yeah.
That's not justice, like that's bullshit. I don't know.
Well, and even if they get kicked out of office, they still get paid for like the rest of their life. I'm pretty sure they're just like, well,
a lot of them get pensions and stuff like that. It depends on how long they're in term or whatever. But yeah, and it's just like I think
okay. So what this sounds like to me is that you're just upset that you don't work for the government because you have to, you have to follow the rules. I think that's where you're headed. You're just like, I should have got a government job.
Yeah, well,
then I could be in the smoke screen.
I think that that's the other thing is like I can't be too hard on people who work for the government because it's like, why wouldn't you not want to work for the fucking empire? Why would you not want to be a part of the most powerful group of people in society? Why would you choose not to do that? And so you get into the government and you have like people don't get fired as easy. Like you can't fire teachers. Politicians don't get fired. If we elected Obama, right? And he said that he was going to do certain things, like he was not going to be as hard on whistleblowers. And then Snowden comes out and he's a whistleblower, and then we're like gonna murder him. And it's like, okay, so if you're,
it wasn't as harsh because we weren't gonna torture him and then murder him. We were just gonna murder him.
It's like whatever. But I mean, if a politician doesn't do what they say they were gonna do before they were in office, and then now they're in office and they don't do any of that stuff, you can't do shit.
No.
Good luck, people. You fucking idiots that vote for it. Just fucking pisses me off that people are so childish. They're just like, but Obama, they just have stuff to say. And it's like your actions and the way that you think about it and the way that we talk about it and the way that we all just, like, a lot of people just take it all for granted and just go. And then they have these discussions about the amount of people who died in Iraq. I was listening to a podcast and it was like they were twiddling. They were arguing over how many people America is responsible for killing in Iraq during the last 10, 12 years or whatever we've been in, or 13 years we've been at war with